Good evening. This is Melissa with the StockSwoosh.com and welcome. Today I wanted to do a market review. It's always nice to do this at the end of the week. It is Friday, April 26th, and I wanted to review the current market. I have been looking at the market as bullish ever since this bullish gap up in March. Now, I know we pulled in past that since then, but here's what I'm looking at. The overall trend in the market, in the Qs, during the month of January was straight flat sideways, just completely flat, neutral. Then, very similar look in February, tended on the bearish side, which I did call. This is pull in here. And we could have scooped and curved around then. And I was actually looking for some kind of gap down to happen in the market during the month of February, but it never happened. It absolutely never happened. And then this happened on March 5th. What happened after that? Well, we based, pulled in here very tightly, based, booped right over this base right here, and then we gapped down. Now, the gap down that happened here failed, and it really was a failure. Why? It failed on the day and failed to go the next day. Therefore, this is a failure. And it didn't even go the third day in. This is a failure. It carried through higher 1, 2, 3, 4 days straight up to the top. 5 green days after this gap down failure. So it really was a failure. And the green bar that happened here on April 10th was a breakout bar over a base. And ever since that happened, I said we are clearly definitively higher in the market. And I have not wavered from my bias on that even with this activity. I was looking at it hard, looking at it even harder. Kind of surprised that we came in this far, but nothing surprises me about the market activity anymore. And all the years I've been trading, there's nothing that surprises me. We pulled into support though. That's all that we did. We pulled into a nice, here you can see it. This is a better way to see it. Look how heavy and deep now this support area is. This is a really, really heavy, deep support area in the market. So it went in and retested it. That's all. We didn't get toppy. We've never been toppy here recently, and I'll go over that in a moment. However, we quickly picked ourselves up, rallied, did a daily buy setup right at the 50-period moving average, right on the 200-period moving average, and carried through green for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. 5 nice days, and even today, we held very bullishly today. Very bullishly. This is very bullish activity today. This low of this bar is 69.27. It was one of the numbers I wrote down this morning that we would come into. I was giving the market to come in all the way into 69, 68.80 if we had to. We held right at the tippy top. And we barely even came in. This number's over here as well, 69.26. There it is. Beautiful. Beautiful. And here. So this is very bullish activity. We hung up in midair this day. We hung up in midair this day here. We gapped up and stayed and hung up and stayed in midair, mind you. And we're still doing it. So this is very bullish. Very bullish. This is very bullish. And this whole activity here is very bullish. I know a lot of people are looking at the market and thinking that this is the top of the market and therefore we're going to pull in this year. But that is not how I'm looking at it. The only way I would change my bias on the overall direction of the market is if we do what? A gap. A professional bearish gap down. That I would rate and say, yes, this is a great gap down. This is one I'd play short. This is changing the direction of the market and therefore we are headed lower. That has not happened. If that happens, I will change my bias. However, until then, there's nothing to do but continue the trend. And the trend is up. The trend is up. And we're continuing higher. And this signified a breakout here the day that we did this. It is not a great idea to pick tops and bottoms as a method to trade. That is actually not even a strategy. It's not a strategy. If that was a strategy, you could almost short every resistance level that existed in the market and expect to make money. And as you see, that's completely ridiculous. So all people do when they look at tops is they're looking at resistance. But how do you know that's the resistance? There's multi-levels of resistance on a chart, just like there's multi-levels of support. So that's why taking an entry, assuming that a change in direction would happen on a top is erroneous because a change of direction only happens when a gap is formed. The gap that's formed, and it has to be a qualified gap, a good gap, will change the direction of a chart or a stock or the market when it happens, if and when it happens, although that hasn't happened yet here. And then the reference to the downside. And even this bullish gap here, it really didn't hold, but held as good as it could have considering all this activity. Same thing with this one here, really. So what I'm looking at for the market is higher over these people, right over top of these people. And whether or not we retest before we get over the people or not, or we retest and blow right through them, we'll have to see. We either retest and blow right through them, or we retest and come in and then eventually we'll blow through them. It's either one of those two things is going to happen, but I definitely have 100% conviction we're getting over this area this year, by the way. And we could wiggle and jiggle around here in a while before we get over it, but to be honest with you, I don't think so. We've been holding so bullishly here. We've been holding so bullishly. We did this deep pull-in. I think this is it. This is the last of Mohicans here. This deep pull-in here to support and the quick bounce, and that happened, very big bounce that happened right after. I'm looking at it that we're higher sooner rather than later over that 70-50 area, or at least the retest. The whole idea of toppiness happens what? When something is extended. It's extended, it's running up, and it gets exhausted, and then it decides to come in. However, the market isn't exhausted. It hasn't gone anywhere. It's barely moved from January. And if you really want to be honest, the market is traded in a range around 66.50-ish. to all the way up to 70 bucks. This is really the range the market's traded in this whole year. 66.50 to 70. So like less than a $4 range the market has traded this entire year for 4 solid months. That's a tight range for something like the entire market to trade in. So the market has not been rallying with a level of extension that anyone should expect to pull in, meaning toppiness. So, and also this breakout bar here is very bullish. This break over the base is bullish. It didn't matter that we pulled in after this. This is here. This is here. Hold, hold, hold. Today we held. Today I actually felt that the market would come in today. My call for the market today and intraday was bearish. And I felt that we would come in today bearishly to an area. And we didn't even get anywhere near the area I was giving the market today. We held right at the tippy top. And we rallied up this morning, came in, held right here on the 15-minute, held right here in the 15-minute, and look, we bounced at 12 o'clock noon, a major reversal time, and we didn't look back the rest of the day. Rallied up through a Friday afternoon and closed very bullishly. I know this is a tiny, tiny, tiny red bar, but we came down and then we picked ourselves up and we closed right in here. So this is a big hold. To hold this kind of space is very strong, very strong. So we'll have to see exactly what the market wants to do next week. But my overall call for the market is higher this year. That's, how I'm reading it. And the interesting thing is I love to short stocks. I love to short. I trade professional bearish gaps. And the interesting thing is I'm looking at the market as very bullish. And there's so many people out there. I'm one of the few people, I don't know anybody else but me that's calling the market higher this year, actually. Most people out there are saying that the market is going to pull in here. But I'm not seeing the price action that way. I'm not reading the price action that way. So I'm reading it the way I see it, and that to me is bullish, even though I really like to short. So I'm being very particular in my read because I could easily be swayed to short anything in the planet, but I can't. Why? Because I've got to stick to what I know. And I really know how to read price action. And everything I'm explaining here is really just on point. The way this activity is flowing, the way that the direction is curving and scooping up, it is not turning down, it's making a scoop. And if anything, the market is resting to go higher. Whole month of January, came in a little bit in February, holding in March, rallied up in April, came down, rallied up again. Now we're going into May next week. We'll see if we're going to push through and follow through. Green, I think we're going to be bullish into the summer. My call is the market rallies bullish and breaks over those highs into the summer months, which is typically not heavy activity for the market, but I do think that's what's going to happen this year, actually. This is just coming to me right now. What's going to happen is the market is going to break out sometime. It could happen anywhere between now and the summer. The market is going to lift off and break out over those highs over 70.50, and there's going to be a huge rally in the market in the summer months. This is just how I'm seeing it here now. Now I'm looking at the time of the year and everything. And that's going to be people that are thinking this is short, that we're going to pull in, that this is toppy, you're going to get blown through their positions, trying to pick tops, which is not a sophisticated way to trade. So you've got to look at the overall picture. Anyone can see, looking at this, that the market has been in a nice, steady rest, grind, rest, grind, rest, grind, up. We're not extended because we haven't lifted off yet, really. Where's the lift off? We're getting ready to lift off. We're resting, saving our energy, coming in a little bit, saving our energy more. Boop. Resting, 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 resting. Gap down failure. Hard rally up. Pull into support. Get some of these people out. Take off again. Getting ready to blow. This is resting to go higher. Resting to go higher. Every time we rest to go higher, we're higher. Do you follow what I'm saying? So unless the market does a gap down, which this is it, the market would have to gap down under here, like actually gap and open under 65.25. And if the market does that, we're lower. Otherwise, we're not. So my overall picture is bullish for the next, for the next period, however long it lasts, unless we see a bearish gap in here. And I urge people who just want to look at pivots and higher highs and higher lows and lower highs and lower lows to contact me and sign up and take my trading class. It's just, you cannot look at stuff in a vacuum. I understand the market did a higher high here, and then it came in and did a lower high here. I know it did a lower low here. I know all the pivot stuff. I know what everybody's looking at when they're making these calls. But you have got to look at it in a more particular fashion. I'm actually looking at really what is happening with the price. This is like way beyond even technical analysis. This is like really advanced technical analysis stuff here. To make a decision about how to trade things, you've got to look at so many different factors. The idea of just looking at these pivots and higher highs and higher lows is not enough information. It will steer you in the wrong direction because you have to look at the overall bigger picture. You have to look at what the trading action and what's happening. Look at how strong the market's holding. Just don't look at this candlestick from today. Don't look at this candlestick back here. Don't just look at this candlestick here. Look at everything that's going on in conjunction together and read the price. Read how the market's moving with the price. Even today, okay, this was so relaxed. There was never any crazy, crazy, crazy thing going on in this today that was bearish. This was a very relaxed, tiny, tiny move down that didn't go anywhere and immediately rallied at a reversal time. So this is not Panic City. This is not panic. Let's look at the 15-minute and a bigger time frame here. Here it is. That is a beautiful chart. Look, it just came down and then lifted off right in the special area here. The special area that it loves. Beautiful. And I was giving the market all the way down here to come in and pull in and still be bullish. But it didn't care. It said, no, we like this area here. This is much prettier. And there it is. So we'll see what the market wants to do next week. This is Melissa with the stock, Swoosh.com. My overall call for the market is bullish, is higher. I love to short things. However, I'm very good at reading charts, and I'm sticking true to the read of what the price action is telling me. And instead of living in a vacuum, I'm looking at a very detailed manner and a sophisticated way to read charts and price. If you are interested in learning how to trade, if you're interested in learning how to trade gaps, if you're interested in learning technical analysis, if you're interested in really learning a sophisticated way to read charts and price action, then contact me at melissa@thestockswoosh.com. I teach a class, and if you're interested in more information, email me at melissa@thestockswoosh.com. Have a great weekend, everybody.